Most men think women remember the guy with the best looks, the flashiest lifestyle, or the smoothest lines. They don't. Women remember impact, the man who left a mark on her nervous system, not the man who tried the hardest. Every woman has a list of men she forgot the moment they stopped talking to her. And then there's the one she couldn't shake, even when she tried. The one who stayed in her mind when she dated someone else. The one she compared other men to. The one who made her feel something she couldn't recreate. That man wasn't unforgettable because he was perfect. He was unforgettable because his energy, his presence, and his self-control were different from anything she was used to. He didn't chase. He didn't fold. He didn't over-explain. He didn't perform. He didn't need her attention to feel like a man. And that's exactly why she thought about him long after he was gone. Women don't remember predictable men. They don't remember men who crack under pressure. They don't remember men who react emotionally to everything she does. They don't remember men they can easily understand or manipulate. They remember the man who stayed calm when other men lost composure. They remember the man who didn't break when she tested him. They remember the man whose identity didn't revolve around her. They remember the man who made her feel safe, intrigued, respected, and slightly challenged. You want to know what makes a man unforgettable? It's not looks. It's not money. It's not status. It's presence. It's depth. It's self-respect. It's discipline. It's emotional control. The traits most men never develop. Because they're too busy trying to impress women instead of becoming a man women naturally value. This video is going to break down exactly what separates unforgettable men from forgettable ones, and how to become the type of man who lives rent-free in a woman's mind long after you've walked away. Let's get into it. If you want to know why some men stay in a woman's mind long after they're gone, understand this. Women don't fall for men. They fall for how a man makes them feel in his presence. Not what he says, not what he promises, not the image he tries to present. They fall for the imprint, the psychological signature he leaves behind. And most men never leave one, because their presence is weak, loud, insecure, or emotionally chaotic. 1. Women never forget a man with true presence. Presence isn't about talking a lot or trying to be interesting. Presence is when a man is fully grounded in himself, calm, focused, unbothered, and not performing for anyone. A man with presence makes a woman feel like the world slows down for a moment, like she's in the company of someone rare, someone who doesn't need her attention to validate himself. Most men are mentally scattered, anxious, and reactive. That's forgettable energy. The man with presence? He's stable. He's controlled. He listens. He observes. He speaks when he has something to say, not to fill silence. Women don't forget the feeling of being around that. 2. The mystery. She can't read him, and that attracts her. Women forget predictable men. The ones who show all their cards instantly. The ones who reveal everything. The ones who overshare to force connection. The unforgettable man is different. He's open but not exposed. He's warm but not needy. He's interested but not invested too quickly. A woman remembers the man she couldn't fully figure out. The man who was deep, not complicated. Just not desperate to be understood. Mystery isn't a tactic. It's the byproduct of a man who values privacy, self-respect, and internal validation. She remembers that because most men aren't like that. Most men rush, he doesn't, and that creates emotional gravity. 3. Emotional control. The trait that separates men instantly. A woman will never forget the man she couldn't break, not because she wanted to hurt him, but because she tested him to see if he was real. Women test men unconsciously. Does he get jealous? Does he chase? Does he fold under pressure? Does he get emotional when she pulls back? Does he need reassurance like a child? Most men fail these tests instantly. The unforgettable man passes because he doesn't rely on her behavior to determine his mood or identity. He stays calm when she pushes. He stays grounded when she gets emotional. He stays composed when she tries to pull away. He stays logical when she tries to trigger him. This is the moment women get hooked, because a man with emotional control is rare. He isn't threatened. He isn't reactive. He isn't desperate. He has a center, and she can feel it. And the second she feels a man who can regulate himself, she remembers it forever. Because emotional control isn't just masculine, it's unforgettable. Every man thinks he's competing with other guys. But the truth is, most men are exactly the same in a woman's eyes. Predictable, eager, insecure, overly available, emotionally reactive. That's why unforgettable men stand out instantly. Not because they try harder, but because their entire way of moving is different from the herd. Women don't remember the men who chase them. They remember the men whose standards, self-respect, and ambition force her to level up just to be near them. Here's what separates you. 1. Self-respect. You treat yourself better than she treats herself. Most men will change their behavior the moment a woman shows them interest. They drop their standards. They tolerate disrespect. They bend their schedule. They break their routine. They hand away their power the second it feels good. Forgettable energy. A man with self-respect is different. He doesn't rearrange his life for convenience. He doesn't tolerate flaky behavior. He doesn't shrink himself to keep her comfortable. He doesn't negotiate with his principles. Women remember that because it's rare. A man with self-respect is a man she cannot control, and that sticks in her mind. 2. Confidence without performance. Most men confuse confidence with loudness. They think confidence is being charismatic, extroverted, or always on. That's insecurity. Real confidence is quiet. It's calm. It's the man who doesn't need to advertise who he is because he knows who he is. Unforgettable men are confident without performance. They're comfortable in silence. They don't oversell themselves. They don't need approval. They don't need instant rewards. This kind of confidence is magnetic because it's not aimed at impressing her. It's a byproduct of a man who trusts himself. And the moment she feels it, it imprints. 3. Standards that don't move. Unforgettable men don't have preferences. They have standards. Most men say they have standards. Then they break them the moment they like a woman. The real difference is this. He doesn't tolerate inconsistent effort. He doesn't date women who bring chaos. He doesn't chase someone who's unsure. He doesn't let sex override logic. He doesn't need a woman to feel whole. Women remember the man who held his standards even when she tempted him to drop them. That's masculine integrity, and it's extremely rare. 4. Depth and purpose. You're not just a man, you're a mission. The vast majority of men have no direction, no deeper meaning, no mission bigger than the woman they're chasing. You want to be unforgettable? Be a man who wakes up with purpose. A woman can feel when a man has a mission. It changes how he talks, how he moves, how he treats himself, and how attached he becomes. A man with purpose. Doesn't cling, doesn't complain, doesn't overthink, doesn't lose himself in women. Doesn't get emotionally derailed by attention, because his life is bigger than romance. Women don't forget a man like this because they can't replace a man like this. She can replace attention. She can replace good conversation. She can replace chemistry. But she cannot replace a man who's living for something beyond her. That man becomes a reference point, a memory, a standard that every guy after you gets compared to. A woman doesn't remember a man because he tried to impress her. She remembers him because he was rare, the kind of man she can't easily find again. And rarity is not about looks, money, or status. Rarity is built through discipline, purpose, and identity, the things most men never master. Here's what actually makes you unforgettable. 1. Purpose first. Always the men who haunt women the longest aren't the ones who gave them the most attention. They're the ones who had something bigger than her to focus on. A man with purpose is magnetic because he's not emotionally starving. He's not dependent on her validation. He's not sitting around waiting for her replies. He has direction. He has mission. He has momentum. Women remember the man who wasn't afraid to put his purpose above the relationship. Because deep down, she respects men who have something to lose. Most men make her the center of their world. The unforgettable man makes himself the center of his world. 2. Discipline that speaks louder than words. Words don't imprint on a woman. Behavior does. Women remember the man who trains daily, the man who keeps his promises, the man who follows through, the man with habits harder than his excuses, the man who builds himself even when no one is watching. This is why a disciplined man is unforgettable. He lives by a code. Most men crumble under pressure or emotion. The disciplined man becomes more focused. He becomes the anchor in the storm. He becomes the calm in chaos. He becomes the standard. When a man lives in alignment with discipline, a woman feels it. And that feeling is hard to forget. 3. Emotional independence. The men who get forgotten fastest are the ones who depend on her approval to feel okay. A woman never forgets the man who could walk away if something didn't align with his values. Not out of ego, not out of manipulation, but out of self-respect. Most men fear losing a woman. An unforgettable man fears losing himself. And that difference is what makes him powerful. Women don't forget the man who didn't panic when she pulled back, didn't collapse when she went cold, didn't beg for reassurance, didn't chase after rejection. They remember the man who stayed grounded through all of it. Because emotional independence is so rare, it's almost intimidating. 4. Becoming a rarity in a world full of noise. Here's the truth. Women forget predictable men because predictable men are everywhere. They're common, replaceable, easy to understand. But a man who is disciplined, mysterious, driven, composed, self-respecting, emotionally controlled, and purpose-focused, that man becomes a psychological imprint, a standard she compares every future man to. She may move on with her life. She may date someone else. She may pretend she forgot you. But she will think about you in the quiet moments. When a new guy reacts emotionally, when a new guy lacks direction, when a new guy doesn't have presence or purpose, you become the blueprint. You become the exception. You become the memory no one else replaces. That's what makes a man unforgettable. Not luck, not looks, not charm, identity, discipline, presence, purpose. The rare combination that most men never develop, and you can. Because unforgettable isn't something you're born as. It's something you build day by day through the man you choose to become. If there's one truth in all of this, it's simple. Women remember the man who remembers himself, not the man who performs, not the man who chases, not the man who bends to be chosen. They remember the man who chose his standards, his purpose, and his identity over temporary validation. And if you want to become that man, the man she can't replace, can't forget, and can't fully understand, it starts with who you are when she's not around. It starts with discipline, with presence, with self-respect, with the quiet decisions you make every day that separate you from the crowd. If this resonated with you, do your part. Hit the like button so more men see this message. Drop a comment and tell me the trait you're building next. I read everyone. And subscribe if you're done being forgettable and you're ready to become a man of depth, control, and purpose. This is Relentless Man. Stay grounded, stay disciplined, and as always, rise above the noise.